Kiki's Delivery Service is a great movie. It has incredible story arcs with themes of adventure, happiness, loneliness, depression, feeling lost in the world, and feeling found in the world.
But this movie had a terrible ending. Okay, that sounded a little harsh, but hear me out. I still love this movie. I would argue that the first 80% of the film is nearly perfect. From the very beginning, the story does a great job at keeping you engaged with the journey Kiki is on. And the journey is simple. Once a witch like Kiki is 13, they must venture out to another town to be the town's witch. Sounds basic on paper, but the story of Kiki's Delivery Service is a lot deeper than that. While Kiki is technically a witch, she is still very much human. She goes through all the emotions and tributes that a regular teenager would go through, even though she has a unique experience. And that's what makes this movie so great. Being able to relate to the main character on a human level while still having a perfect small piece of science fiction is truly what makes it special. You have a talking cat and a flying broomstick, and everything else is pretty much realistic with all the social interactions. And again, it really is a perfect mix. But even after such an engaging story, the ending just simply feels rushed. When me and my friend watched this movie for the first time, after the ending we just looked at each other and said, That's it? That's the movie? What about Kiki's talent that she needs to discover? What happened between Kiki and Tomo's friends? And what about the fucking cat? Why is the cat still not able to talk at the end, dude? This cat became a fuckboy slut and then stopped being able to talk. Like, what?
And what exactly is your skill?
Well, I haven't really decided that yet.
The first plot hole isn't that big of an issue, but it's definitely noticeable. Early on in the film, it is taught to us that Kiki needs to discover a skill, but is never really talked about again except for one other time, which happens to be really early on in the movie, when Kiki quickly says that the delivery service could be her skill. Which is okay, I guess, but it feels like bad writing. How did this other witch have fortune-telling powers? Was she lying about fortune-telling powers? I don't know. But the point is, it was never really implied what Kiki's skill truly was. Even if it was just a delivery service the entire time, they never bring up anything about her skill again. But that's just a small plot hole. It's nothing really compared to Kiki trying to find herself in the world somehow feels really relatable. Almost every single emotion that Kiki feels in this movie is completely valid. Sure, it might have been a little overkill for her to get depressed for not making it to the party on time, and then she just decided to ditch it altogether, but that kind of stuff happens. Sometimes people have a limit or even a breaking point, even if it comes out of nowhere. Even when it feels like we're almost at the finish line and should keep going, sometimes we just get tired. Sometimes it can just feel easier to give up altogether and drown ourselves in sadness because we came short of our original goal. But when it comes to Tomo's friends and all the other kids in the movie, we never see Kiki finally socialize with them. It's another plot hole that just never gets filled. Multiple times in the movie, Kiki is afraid to talk to other kids around her age, which is very reasonable, but they could have just thrown it in the end. It's simply a conflict that never gets resolved, and I'm sure most viewers were probably let down with this ending. But honestly, this ending would have been okay if it weren't for one of the best characters of the film is easily Gigi the cat. Almost everything that he says is funny and relatable from the audience's point of view, and he's a fun, chill character. But towards the second half of the film, all of a sudden Gigi isn't able to talk anymore when Kiki loses her magic. But you'd think he'd get it back at the end, right? No? He doesn't get it back? Even after Kiki gets her magic back, he still can't talk? He can't talk anymore because he had sex? I guess the moral of the story is that premarital sex is a really bad thing, and if you do it, you'll lose your voice. Nah, in all seriousness though, this story by Iko Kadano made in 1989 is still really incredible, and the adaptation made by Miyazaki is arguably one of the best Studio Ghibli movies ever made. While I still do think that this story has its flaws and a few plot holes that they could have fixed in the movie, it's still a great film. So far from all the Studio Ghibli movies that I've seen, I would say that Kiki's Delivery Service is easily the best one at effectively expressing human emotions and feelings. Which is funny, because Kiki isn't your everyday person, she's a witch.